Thank you for joining Jennifer Shelton Associates in our 2019 Webinar Wednesday series. We are coming to you live from downtown Washington, D.C. Our webinars are every Wednesday, and you can find the upcoming schedule on our website, and past webinars and all recordings are also on our website and YouTube channel, along with over 160 other recordings on federal contracting topics. All are complimentary. If you have questions for our speaker today, you can email him directly with the contact information you'll see on the last slide. All right, just a little bit about us. We are a Washington, D.C.-based firm and provide services for federal contractors. This ranges from market analysis reports to proposal writing and also post-award compliance. More information is on our website, so please visit us there. This is an upcoming event that you can find more information here, also on our website. And we do offer advertising, so you can contact me if you would like more information on that. And our webinar today is sponsored by AccuTrack, and here's a short message from them.
AccuTrack Consulting and Accounting Services is an 8A WOSB CPA firm committed to supporting entities sustain growth in government contracting. Our outstanding DCAA accounting solutions reduce audit risk, improve cash flows, and give you peace of mind. Contact us today to learn how we can enhance your DCAA accounting efforts.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. Our speaker today is David Powell, and he's going to be covering federal events, the Ultimate Engagement Channel. David, thank you for joining us today, and I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to you.
Thanks, Mallory, and welcome to our webinar today, everyone. I wanted to cover a couple of things with you today regarding why events, specifically federal events, are the ultimate engagement channel for reaching potential customers in the federal marketplace, and for the potential customers to also reach to you. One of the most important things about event marketing is that there's an incredible amount of noise out there. Consumers have been rendered somewhat blind to traditional advertisement, web advertisement, and the only real advertisement that impacts or makes sense is that connects with the customer on a human level, on a face-to-face level. Events provide that crucial connection moment for a marketer so that you can effectively connect with a marketplace, cut through the clutter, and build better brand relationships with your target market. Next slide, Mallory. So why, what is the benefit of face-to-face marketing? What is this big deal about face-to-face? Well, in most sales, and I think in all sales, you are the first sale that you need to make. And when you are focusing online and doing most of your work by a computer or behind a computer, engaging with customers across the internet or through telephone calls, they really don't have a chance to meet you face-to-face, understand you, and buy into you as their person. That's the first sale that every salesperson makes, and it's also the first sale that a government buyer will be making, and that is, who is the person that they're buying from. Can you cue the next point? And it's based on this principle that people do business with those that they know, like, and trust. And this is a principle that Dan Sturtevant, former procurement for DHS, he really covers this heavily in his presentations, and that is customers buy from people that they know, they like, and they trust. Again, another very unique feature that events provide is the ability to make the salesperson the first sale that is made, where a customer can begin to develop trust, develop familiarity, and understand whether they like this person. Next point. At a human level, humans develop trust when they're face-to-face. That's just a very basic human concept. And for the next point, please. 93% of all communication is nonverbal. And even if you've heard this before, I think it makes sense to remind everyone that only 7% of any communication is based on the actual words that are used or the actual email or anything that goes along with wording. A full 93% is nonverbal. That means 55% of any communication is based on body language. So The message comes from body language, the small muscles around the eyes, things that people can read from you intuitively. 38% of any message in a selling situation or any communication comes from the tone of voice. So add those two together, you've got 93%, only 7% is based on the words. Again, another key concept when it comes to face-to-face marketing via events. Next point. And this is probably one of the bigger points, especially in the digital age today, that reaching people today isn't the challenge. It's connecting with people. And building a brand involves more than awareness. Brand identity in 2019 is dependent upon engagement and trust. So those are all components that are inherently part of a trade show or an event experience. Next slide. So how can you connect face-to-face? There are a couple of techniques that are already used. You may already know someone at a federal agency that you can call and say, would you meet with me? There are inherent barriers to doing that. Number one, we would have security things that we need to go through to get in the building. The next thing is they need to want to see you, and there must be a valid reason. And so those are a couple of points in terms of already knowing someone. The second thing you can do is just show up to an agency, go to the front desk, and ask to come in. And 99.9 times out of 100, that is not a successful strategy. It tends to not work, and it may end up being a waste of time. Will most probably be a waste of time. And that goes hand in hand with the third point, cold call or email. Cold calling on the government works. People will return your call. Government federal employees definitely want to find additional solutions or other ways to solve the problems that they're faced with. At the same time, it's probably more effective to meet that person face to face, allow them to provide you with some information, establish trust, establish familiarity, and then move forward to a meeting. But events can create a very efficient way of turning encounters into meetings. Next slide. So the answer, obviously, and I've mentioned it a few times, number 4 here is participate in events. And events are available pretty much every day of the week in the federal marketplace. There are different ways to identify events, the ones that will be right for you. We'll talk about that in one of the next webinars. But suffice it to say that events will give you a higher return on your time in terms of follow-up, appointments, meetings, a higher return on your time in terms of potential trust, potential customers, and relationship development. So events become the ultimate marketing channel in that respect. Next slide. So there are a couple of things that, a couple of key concepts that I wanted to review, probably a little bit more in depth. Events being the ultimate permission-based marketing. There are a few key marketing concepts that they support. First of all, the idea of permission-based marketing versus interruption-style marketing. When you are a participant in an event, the event itself creates context for your presence at the location. The people that are coming to the event are coming there for the reason that the event is happening. And for that context, it creates an opportunity for you to speak to somebody pertaining to that context and in a permission-based format. The fact that they're there, they want information, they're coming to find out more about the specific topic, so that provides an implied permission and people coming to you, versus interruption-style marketing, where you're sending an email, putting an ad, or doing a cold call, or some other type of contact device that interrupts the day. Implied permission or permission-based marketing tool is always more effective than an interruption-based marketing tool. The second point on this slide, the human connection, go back to the beginning. Humans buy from people they know, like, and trust. You're a long way down the road in developing all of those things in a face-to-face environment. Two-way dialogue is important because it's always more important to receive information from a potential customer than to give information. And the more information we can receive about a potential customer helps us tailor solutions that more effectively solve the problem. And then obviously that becomes a more effective selling situation in the case of two-way dialogue. When you're on a phone call, when you're sending an email, when you're doing any type of electronic communication, two-way dialogue is interrupted, body language can't be read, context is sometimes misinterpreted, and it's very difficult to move along the trust spectrum in order to develop a sales opportunity. So two-way dialogue is one of the best features of an event because you can interact with your potential customer. Next, event marketing exists off of, just go back to that last slide, please. Event marketing exists off of the printed page. What that means is, as I mentioned before, there's an incredible amount of noise in the marketplace these days. There's an incredible amount of clutter. What we really want to enhance is an opportunity to cut through the clutter, rise above the noise, and make that connection with that customer. That customer will receive hundreds of marketing messages in that day. The one that will stand out is the one that is attached to a human being standing in front of them. And then the last point, events that engage all five senses become experiential. And one of our core target experiences that we work towards in the event business is to build an event that does engage sight, sound, touch, smell, and taste. And the fact is, when all senses are engaged, a memorable experience is created. And as the result of that, you have the beginnings of a relationship, beginnings of trust, and beginnings of familiarity. So all these things work together. If an event is able to engage all five senses, and most of them are, it's a home run. Next slide, please. So trust-based relationships, and we can spend a lot of time going into the science behind how trust works. But relationships in terms of development definitely are a difficult commodity to come by. They take time and they take effort. And most of all, they take you to be involved in the process, to participate in building trust, to introducing yourself in a way that develops trust and develops familiarity and moves you forward. Events gives you an opportunity to do that, but face-to-face is the best way to create chemistry. Okay. So the last point that I will make on this slide is that events also create affinity. In other words, we're here for the same reason. We may be on opposite sides of the buy-sell equation, but we're here to learn about a specific area of thought, a specific context, and that context provides the genesis for a relationship to begin, a sales relationship to begin. So let me run through just in summary, remember the events are the ultimate engagement channel. They're permission-based marketing. They promote two-way dialogue. They're face-to-face, human-to-human. They engage the things that make human beings trust one another and do business with one another. Events by design allow nonverbals and offline communication to establish trust. Events, the real exciting things that happen in an event are usually in the side spaces of the event. It happens in the interactions, the chance meetings, the understanding of specific customer needs, and the development of relationships that lead to future business. Events create affinity. In other words, we have this in common. Events provide context for your message, and by doing so, create relevance for you. Events are experiential. by nature. They engage many senses. And what that does is connects your audience with your brand, which is essential in today's very cluttered marketing environment. Events allow emotion and connection to be part of the selling process, which is essential. All of this works together. All of these concepts work together to build and support lasting relationships that provide value to both you as the buyer or you as the seller and the buyer. And the basic fact, and let's go back to the beginning, the basic fact is that people do business with people that they know, like, and trust. And most importantly, the best events look easy. If it feels like a good event, you're meeting lots of people, and it feels like it's a productive day for you, that's usually going to be the best event. So Mallory, that's what I have to present today, and we can entertain follow-up questions or follow-up calls, or do another presentation to answer any specific questions. But again, events are the ultimate engagement channel and definitely are a must in any federal marketing mix. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, David, for sharing your knowledge and insight today. If anybody has questions, please reach out to David directly with the email or phone number shown on your screen. And we do have a webinar after this at 12:30, so join us then. And this concludes the webinar. Thank you, everybody.